This Walkability Action Institute here in Nashville is actually a convening of teams from around the state. The University of Tennessee, the Department of Health, and other partners have pulled together these teams for an intensive couple of days of training around how to build a community so it's more walk, bike, and transit friendly.
About planters on sidewalks, anything like that, protection?
Yeah, how about some kind of protection, right? Protection from traffic, that's what these are for sure. Matthew, I like how you're thinking, man. He's like, I'm collecting points right now. What we've been doing here is actually using Nashville as our laboratory. We've been doing classroom presentations around best practices in designing for safe pedestrian, bicycle, and transit use. But then we've gone out and looked at places where they're doing great work here in Nashville and also challenging things. Yesterday, we did what we call a walk audit, where we actually went out and imagined how would we do this in our own communities? How would we go out and audit the environment for its friendliness to physical activity? Today was more of a competitive game where we tried to tally up the most positive attributes, things that make it easier. Nice wide sidewalks, high quality crosswalks, pedestrian signals that have countdown timers on them. We accreted all the points we could get for positive attributes and also identified challenges that could be improved. Is a curb extension on our list? So where the curb bumps out?
Pocket park?
Pocket, yeah, for sure. Oh, pocket park. This is a great pocket park too.
The scavenger hunt today is full of finding things that both promote and hinder a walkable, movable environment. So teams are out exploring downtown Nashville and accruing points for items that might make a place more walkable, more movable, more inviting, and more safe.
And I said, we can do some of those things in our community. So we're looking at some things that we can do in our green spaces to make them more inviting. That's one of the reasons we're in Nashville for these 2 days.
One of our hopes is that the teams learn how to do these kinds of scavenger hunts and then take this activity back home and get their residents out and they go exploring in their own communities, because obviously a small town's going to look very different than a big city or a more urban area, but it's still relevant.
We just don't have the things that the bigger towns have, and we don't expect to have, but we expect to have them on a smaller level. We want our kids exposed to some of the things that children are exposed to in larger towns. So what we're going to try to do is go back and change, not the town yet, but change mindsets. And then I think we can change the town.
It'd be great if all Americans averaged about 30 minutes of physical activity a day or more, because it would reduce risk for cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, clinical depression, dementia and old age, a growing list of cancers. The problem is telling people that is not enough. What we have to do is build environments where it's easy to be active every day, where people can walk to the corner store, where children walk and bike to school again, where maybe part of our commute to work can be part of a walk to a bus stop and then riding the bus. When people integrate physical activity into daily lives, it's much more effective and it becomes a long-term solution.